Hey guys, what's happening? Nikki here at Ocean Terrace. Just got myself some lunch right here at this restaurant and about to go for a walk right beside the beach. But I'm going to be hiking through North Beach Oceanside Park. So temperature right now is 27 degrees centigrade. So technically it's hot right now. It's a nice looking hotel. I wonder what that is. Oh, I think it's a dog shit disposal. I mean, can't we just throw it in a garbage can or something? Anyways. So these palm trees right here, I think the Canary Island palm trees, I think that's what it's called. They're like bunched up together. These aren't it. But yeah, there's so many palm trees. I try to memorize each and every one of them, but I just can't do it. Like, I'm not very good with memorization, okay? So I know I try to memorize every palm tree. There's like 57 different types of palm trees. I mean, these do look familiar. I think the ones right here are the Florida Royal palm trees. Now, these types of trees, they can handle cold weather between -1 and -4 degrees as long as it's not dominant. Like, let's say, like, basically the minimum temperature has to be between -1 and -4 degrees, and some of those trees can even handle -9 as long as it doesn't become dominant. Wow, the birds are sure different around here. Hello there, birdies. Oh, this looks like a jungle tree. The sun has gone behind the clouds. I hope it doesn't rain on me. Now, there's a shared path right here, but that's the path that takes you towards the beach. I think Northview Oceanside Park is like just up ahead. Yeah, I think this is it here.
Look at this.
It's very breezy. Anytime you're close to the ocean, you're always going to get that nice breeze. Wow, is that bird stuck in a tree? Yo, you stuck there? He's not moving. Oh well. And they have a splash pad over here. Now this park that I'm about to walk through, it's basically the heart of the North Beach neighborhood here in Miami Beach. And it has a lot of amenities. And it kind of reminds me of the beachfront parks in Mississauga and Oakville, Ontario. Because I've been to those waterfront parks a lot of times, many times, and I remember they have a splash pad there. So I guess it's kind of like that. And here's a volleyball court. So you could play volleyball. I think volleyball is like a type of beach game. Because really, I've seen in TV shows where they play volleyball at the beach. Now these are one of the short bushy palms. Gosh, I forgot the names of them. I know I've been doing some research, but it's hard for me to memorize it. Research means nothing to me because, you know, because I just can't remember it. But yeah, these are bushy palms, and they're basically dwarf because they, you know, they just grow out of the ground. I think they have a lot of those in Arizona. But I know there are types of trees that don't grow any taller than 3 feet. Like these ones right here. I can hear an airplane around here, but I don't see it. Now this over there is the lifeguard booth. I wonder if there's a lifeguard on duty. I'm not going to be swimming. Oh, and here's some very useful advice. Never swim at the beach unless you're traveling with someone, because, you know, this is the Atlantic Ocean over there. And if you get swept in, nobody's going to be around to save you. I mean, obviously there are lifeguards, but that's not enough. Like, they've even been issuing a rip current statement. And that can be very dangerous because the way a rip current goes is that I think if you like swim to a certain distance, or even if you swim at all, like the current can just pull you right in, and you see people can easily get stranded because, you know, they try swimming, then they get pulled in, and it's so hard to swim back to shore, and before you know it, you're stranded in the middle of the ocean. That's horrible because we're not fish, and eventually we're gonna get tired. So yeah, this is why you gotta be very careful. It's always good to have a buddy with you. And the sun's coming back out. It's pretty quiet here. We all know that this area has Cuban influence. Like, there's a lot of Cubans who live in Miami, and I've actually met a couple or several, you know, because let's put it this way. You're in Toronto. I've met a lot of Indian people in Toronto. There are lots and lots of Indian people in Toronto. I don't really know why that is, but I feel like Indians are just taking over our city back home. But in Miami, as a matter of fact, over 50% of people who live in Miami are Cuban, like at least 60 or above. No kidding, because here's why. Because if you look at the map, Miami is like just off the coast of Cuba. In fact, it's not too far from Havana, also known as the city of Unana. But their government in Cuba is just not very good. Because first of all, Cuba's a poor country, and their government is just not that good, and they don't even have the freedom of speech, unlike Canada and the US. Cuba's like Russia and China. You know, you can get prosecuted for saying one foul language word. So obviously they're not too happy here, so that's why they move here. But those Cubans are going to have to find a new place to live because this place is sinking due to climate change. I actually had, you know, for a few years I had a thought to actually live in Orlando, but I kind of regret living anywhere in the US because, unlike Canada, the US permits guns, and over at least 75% of Americans carry a gun with them. I mean, if you watch channels like Violet First, they have a gun. and really, they live in the U.S. and they have a gun, and Americans are just thinking, man, I gotta have my guns. So they just have guns for safekeeping, but in Canada it's prohibited. So that's the reason why I'm not part of the States. I don't mind coming to the States. I mean, I like the US, but I don't, and besides, moving to another country is like a bit of a hassle because, you know, you got too many things. Like, first of all, you got to renew your driver's license because, you know, it's not the same in the US as in Canada. And as a matter of fact, the Ministry of Transportation varies from province to province, and especially outside of the country. Also, you got to switch banks as well. Because, you know, well, actually, you know, TD offers banks in Canada and the US. Like, there's a TD bank in the States and in Canada. And this is where you can wash yourself right here. Mostly your feet. I mean, Orlando is like one of my favorite places because it's a very nice city. I've been there before. I loved it. And obviously, that's the city where you've got Disney World, Universal Studios, and SeaWorld. But another thing, in order to work in the States, like in order to live alone, you have to have a job. Whether it's Canada or the US, like no matter where you live, you have to have a job in order to make money. But you can't get a job in the United States unless you have a green card. And a green card is not very easy to get. So I'm like, screw it. I'll just stay where I am. Who cares if it's cold in Canada? We can always make the best of it. Wonder what happened here. That could be just a puddle. You know, at first I thought it was smoke, but smoke damage. Like there might have been a fire here, but nah, it's probably just a puddle. I find the United States is like the capital country of the world because a lot of TV shows / movies / YouTube videos take place in the United States, such as channels like Violet First or Oceanside Mushrooms. They take place in the United States. Like a lot of those YouTube videos that I watch, they're all made in the US. I hardly ever find a YouTube video that was made in Canada. And I think the US is like the third largest country of the world, and the fourth largest country is Brazil. Okay, so here's the guide map. It says here, North Beach, Oceanside Park. Okay, project start mate. What are they doing? Collins Avenue. Yeah, I was doing a walk-in video on Collins Avenue. It's it's like the major street of this island. Okay, looks like they're gonna build something around here. That's probably what that construction was all about when I was doing my walking video on Collins Avenue. So that's what they're building. Or are they building it here? Looks kind of like a jungle. Yeah, they're probably talking about like just south of here. So I kind of forgot where I was projected to end my video, but I think I'm gonna keep walking until I had enough. Wonder what kind of tree that is. There's no leaves on the tree. Yeah, I mean, no matter how far south you go, the trees are always going to lose their leaves. Okay? That's just the way it is. Because, you know, it mostly has to do with the daylight hours. Like, you know, like it has to do with daylight hours as well as temperature. Like, when the days get shorter, you know, the trees lose their leaves. But then they'll start to gain them back. Like, look at this way. I mean, if you look at those trees right here, this is what our trees are going to look like back home in May or late April. Because really, that's generally what they look like at that time. And these leaves are orange. So it's kind of like the fall colors. Although it's almost spring. Looks like there are coconuts growing. Yeah, you can see some coconuts up there. At least I think there are coconuts. One time I brought home a coconut from Cuba in late 2010. And the thing with coconuts is they are so hard to open. Like, we couldn't open up the coconut until like 3 months later. Like, it's incredibly hard to open. And one time I bought myself a coconut from my local grocery store, and my mom thought it was a cooking coconut because when I tasted it, it tasted kind of awful. I mean, the coconut from Cuba tasted pretty good, but that one tasted awful. Like in order to get the coconut open that same day, I had to throw it out the window. Like, I had to like smash it by throwing it out the window, then going downstairs to get it. By the way, I get a little confused with coconuts because a lot of times you see that they are green, right? Well, aren't they like brown with the bark on them? Maybe there are different kinds, who knows? When I rode on the bus to get here, well, you see, first of all, Miami-Dade Transit, those seats are really hard. I mean, if you ever ride the Metro Mover or the bus, the MDT, it's, well, the seats are hard, okay? That's one thing to know. But also, when you ride the bus, I noticed that the announcer sounds just like the TTC's vision system announcer. You know, that computer voice you hear? But, like, for example, I remember in, like, 2018 until January 2019, you push the stop request button, and then she'll say, stop requested. And then they discontinued it in January 2019. Well, that's one way I could tell, because when you pull the cord, when you request a stop, she'll say stop requested, and it sounded exactly like what the TTC vision system sounded like back then. I think they probably use like the same type of software or something, because all we know is it's a computer voice. See, right now the sun keeps going in and out, and those dark clouds over there make me suspicious. This is always how I feel anytime I make videos along the Humber River. Like, okay, I wouldn't say making videos, but I remember in the summer I would go for a walk around the Humber River in Toronto. And I have to specify, I know Torontonian viewers, you know what I'm talking about, but any people who's living in Miami who is watching this video, you know, I have to specify for you. So anyways, that whenever I went for a walk in the valley along the Humber River and I saw a dark cloud, I would always get nervous. I would always feel suspicious, thinking, am I gonna get rained on? So every time I saw that, I would always turn around and go back home, even though it never rained, because it all comes to the saying, it's better to be safe than sorry, you know? Ooh, sea turtles. Ah, cool. Okay, I think one of them might be triangle palms. You know, it's funny, I recognize those palms, because I know I researched the names of them, but I keep forgetting. There's no way I'm going to be able to memorize all 57 trees. We can't be good at everything, let's put it this way. There's some things that I wish I was good at. In fact, there's a lot of things that I wish I was good at, such as naming the palm trees, but, you know, that way I'd be a nature expert, but I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy who likes to embrace the outdoors like my uncle did. Yeah, I think these might be triangle palms. Don't take my word for it. And this here is private property, so we can't go on private property, but I think I'm going to keep walking until I get to 30 minutes. Oh, by the way, I'm walking along the Atlantic Way, which is what this pathway is called. See, this time I remembered to acknowledge it. I almost forgot to acknowledge it, but this time I remembered as I was filming. And this basically takes you along the side of Collins Avenue. Man, I really hope I don't get rained on. I don't like the look of this. Well, I've got quite a lot to do today and tomorrow, so I don't want to waste too much time. Probably gonna head back to Miami City after I finish this video and decide to do what's next. Well, that's a nice looking building over there. That's a luxury. You know what? I'm gonna walk right here. I don't like the sound of it. I don't want to walk too close. It's too noisy over here. Wait, what does this say? Violators will be fined. Well, this has a picture of a dog on it. Well, I don't have a dog with me, so I guess I don't have to worry about it. And that's why I end up dog sitting sometimes, because that white West Highland Terrier dog that you guys have seen in my past videos from the late spring and in the fall, well, that's because that dog doesn't like to be taken on the plane. He doesn't like plane trips. I mean, it's kind of normal. I mean, I suppose there are quite a few dogs that don't like flying. As a matter of fact, some dogs don't even like elevators. I mean, the dog that I was dog sitting, he doesn't mind elevators, but he doesn't really like flying. I mean, he has been on a plane before. Like, sometimes we have to do things that we don't like to do, so, you know, sometimes the owners of that dog will decide to take him on the plane. like it has happened before, but yeah, they always hire me to dog sit him. I don't think that's a telephone wire up there. At least I don't think. I'm not even sure what that is. Okay, I hope the clouds aren't even moving that fast. Sometimes the clouds move pretty fast, but sometimes they move incredibly slow. I just don't want to be rained on. Oh yeah, that reminds me of something. When I came here in January 2015, that was basically, I didn't stay here, but I was getting off a cruise ship and my flight wasn't until late at night. So we had to find something to do. So we came here, and every single time we arrived at the beach, it rained. It kept raining. We got out of the car to go to the beach, the rain started. And then it stops, we go again, and then the rain starts again. I feel like the rain was stalking me back then. Nobody likes to be stalked. No doubt about it. I especially don't like to be stalked by rain. Okay, fine, that's just an exaggeration. I mean, if it rains, I can always find something inside, but it doesn't make it less annoying. Just look at that. And these are the waves. You can see the waves coming in. When you're swimming in the ocean, you're not really swimming because of all those waves, so basically you're just floating up and down the waves. Okay, I wonder how far I've walked. I don't want to get lost. I mean, I don't think I will get lost, but I don't want to take too many chances. And they're building something there. Yeah, really, they're always building something in this town. I've almost had enough, so maybe when I get to 30 minutes I'll stop. Who knows? Because really this trail just goes on forever. And I don't really like to film long videos. Hello there, birdie. Now that looks like the same type of bird you'd see in Canada. Now that bird is tiny, so it's basically a sparrow. You can see those jet boats in the distance. Yeah, they create waves, those boats. That looks like a lot of fun. I just felt a droplet. Like honestly, I felt a slight droplet on me. That means I better wrap it up and get out of here. Because I don't want to be caught in the rain. Even though there's a chance I will. But still, there's an exit to the side streets. And hopefully that's on private property. This is 92nd Street. So I might have walked all the way to the top of North Beach, and I'm about to get rained on. So yeah, if you enjoy this, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more vids coming your way.